In this video, we shall prove the second lemma. We observed in the last remark that we can now concentrate our attention on finite abelian groups of prime power order. So let G be an abelian group of prime power order, and suppose A is an element in G whose order is maximum. Then this lemma says that we can write G in the form a direct product of cyclic group generated by A with some another subgroup K. Now let us understand this with this following example. Suppose order of G is 2 to the power 4 into 3 to the power 5 into 7 cube. Then using lemma 1 and the remark following that lemma, we can write G as the direct product of three groups H, K and L, where order of H is 2 to the power 4, order of K is 3 raised to power 5 and order of L is 7 cube. So we now concentrate on H, K and L separately. Let us first consider the subgroup H, and we try to find out an element of maximum order in H. Order of H is 16, so H can have an elements of order 1, 2, 4, 8 or 16. Now if H has an element of order 16, then H itself would be cyclic, and so we can write down H as generated by some A direct product with the identity subgroup, because order of A this cyclic group generated by A itself is 16. So this way we can break H into this form. But if H does not have an element of order 16, then we look for the next element of maximum order. If H has an element of order 8, say B, then we can write H in this form by lemma 2, that it is direct product of cyclic group generated by B together with some another subgroup H1, where order of H1 is 2. And if H is not having an element of order 8 also, then we look for the elements of order 4 and continue this process. So in this way we can write H in this form. Let us start proving the lemma. G is an abelian group of prime power order. So suppose that order of G is p to the power n, where p is a prime. We shall prove the result by induction on this n. If n is 1, then order of G is p, which is prime. So a group of prime order is cyclic, so G itself is cyclic. So suppose G is generated by A, and so we can write G as internal direct product of A with identity subgroup 1. So result is true when n is 1. Suppose that the result is true for all abelian groups of order p to the power k, where k is strictly less than n, and we prove the result for G. We know that every element of a group is killed by the order of the group. So if X is any element of G, then it will be killed by p to the power n, and so order of X will divide p to the power n, and so this will imply that order of X is a power of p. Let A be in G such that order of A is maximum, and let us assume that this maximum order is p to the power m. So every other element of G would be of order 1 or p square up to p to the power m. So that means all those elements will be killed by p to the power m. So x raised to power p to the power m is 1 for all x in G. Now if G itself is cyclic, then our job is done. Otherwise there will exist elements in G which are not generated by A. So among all those elements we choose an element of smallest possible order that cannot be written as a power of A. So we are choosing that element B, which is not in this cyclic group generated by A. Now we shall prove that order of this B is exactly P. For this we consider the element b raised to power p. Now if we apply power order of b divided by p on this element b to the power p, we get b raised to power order of b, that is of course 1. So b to the power p is killed by this number, but this number is strictly less than order of b, and so order of b to the power p is strictly less than the order of b. Now remember, the choice of b is such that no element whose order is smaller than b can be in the cyclic group generated by a, and so b to the power p must be in the cyclic group generated by a. So if it is in this cyclic group, it will be a power of a. So suppose b to the power p is a to the power I for some I. Now we know that every element of G is killed by p to the power m. So b should also be killed by p to the power m. So b raised to power p to the power m is 1. So we have 1 which is equal to b raised to power p to the power m. We can write this one this way, b to the power p and then power p to the power m minus 1. But b to the power p we have assumed it is equal to a to the power I, and so a to the power I is killed by this number. So order of a to the power I is less than or equal to p to the power m minus 1, which is further strictly less than the order of a. So order of ai is strictly less than the order of a. That means a to the power I cannot be a generator of this cyclic group A. So this GCD cannot be 1, because if this GCD is 1, then a to the power I becomes a generator of A by the theorem on cyclic groups, and so this GCD is not 1, so it is at least P. So if this GCD is at least P, P will divide I. So suppose I is equal to P times J, then b to the power p, which is equal to a to the power I, it becomes a raised to power pj. Now we consider this element c, which is equal to a raised to power minus j times b. If c is in the cyclic group generated by a, then a minus jb will be in cyclic group generated by a, but a minus j is already in cyclic group generated by a, so this implies that b belongs to cyclic group generated by a, and this is a contradiction because b was chosen such that b is not in cyclic group generated by a, and so our assumption is wrong. So c cannot be in the cyclic group generated by a. But if we apply power p on c, we get a minus jb raised to power p. This we get a minus jp into bp, but a raised to power pj is bp from here. So this becomes minus b raised to power minus p into b raised to power p, which is 1. So c is killed by p, so that means c is an element of order p such that c is not in a. And remember that in group G there cannot be elements of order less than p other than the identity itself. So C is smallest order element which is not in A, but B was chosen of smallest order such that B is not in A. So order of B is also P, and this proves our claim. We now show that intersection of these two subgroups is 1. So pick a non-identity element from this intersection y. Then y is in this cyclic group and y is also in this cyclic group generated by B. Now because y is in cyclic group generated by B, so order of y is divides the order of this subgroup, which is P because B is of order P, and so order of y divides P, so that means order of y can be 1 or P, but because y is non-identity, so order of y must be P exactly. So y is another element in this cyclic group which is of order p, whose order is also p. So cyclic group generated by y is also of order p, so that means these two groups are same. So B belongs to cyclic group generated by Y. So that means B is some power of Y. But Y belongs to cyclic group generated by A. So that means B belongs to cyclic group generated by A. And this is a contradiction because B was chosen not to be in the cyclic group generated by A. And so this shows that intersection of these two subgroups is 1. Let us denote this cyclic group generated by B by H, and we consider this quotient group G modulo H. Since A is an element of G, so this coset AH is an element of G modulo H. A raised to power P raised to power M is 1. So let us consider AH raised to power P raised to power M, because AH times BH is ABH, so this becomes A to the power P to the power M then H, but A to the power P to the power M is 1, so it is 1H, and so it is H. H is the identity of G modulo H. So AH is killed by P to the power M, so that means order of AH is less equal to P to the power M. We show that this is exactly p to the power m. So suppose that order of AH is strictly less than p to the power m. If it is strictly less than p to the power m, then it is at most p to the power m minus 1. So AH will be killed by this power. So AH raised to power p to the power m minus 1 is H. That means A to the power p raised to power m minus 1 H is H. So that means A raised to power p raised to power m minus 1 belongs to H, but H is generated by B. So this all element is already in cyclic group generated by A. So this is in this intersection, but this intersection is 1. So that means this is 1, and this is a contradiction because order of A is p to the power m. It cannot be killed by a number smaller than this. So this shows that order of AH is exactly p to the power m, and so AH is of maximum order in G modulo H. Now order of G modulo H is strictly less than the order of G, so we can apply induction hypothesis on this group. Since AH is of maximum order in G modulo H, so by induction hypothesis we can write G modulo H as the direct product of cyclic group generated by AH together with some another subgroup K modulo H of G by H. Now we show that intersection of cyclic group generated by A and this K is exactly identity. So let us choose an element X in this intersection. If X is in this intersection, then XH will be in this intersection, cyclic group generated by AH with K modulo H. But because G modulo H is direct product of these two, so this intersection is identity only, identity of G modulo H, and that is H. So XH belongs to this, so that means XH is simply H, and this shows that X is in H, but H is generated by B. X is already in cyclic group generated by A, so X belongs to this intersection which is 1. So X is 1, and this shows that intersection of these two is 1. Again G modulo H is direct product of these two, so order of G modulo H is the product of the orders of these two. This implies order of G divided by order of H is equal to order of AH. because cyclic group generated by AH order is same as the order of this element. Order of K by H becomes order of K divided by order of H. We have proved that order of AH is simply order of A, so this becomes order of K. Order of H is cancelled from these two sides, so we are left with order of G is equal to order of A times order of K, but order of this element A is same as the order of this cyclic group. So order of G is product of these two groups, so that means G is the product of these two groups, but intersection of these two is already identity, so this shows that G is direct product of A with K, and this proves the lemma. In lemma 2 we have proved that we can write G as the direct product of these two cyclic group generated by A and with some other subgroup K, where A is in G of maximum possible order. Now we can repeat these arguments on the group K, and we can write K also in this form: direct product of cyclic group generated by B and L, where B is in K is of maximum possible order. Now if we continue this process, then ultimately we can write G as an internal direct product of cyclic groups, and so we have this lemma 3. Lemma 3 says that a finite abelian group of prime power order is an internal direct product of cyclic groups. Now in these three lemmas that we have just proved, we have proved that G can be written as a direct product of cyclic groups of prime power orders. To prove the fundamental theorem of finite abelian groups, we are left with to prove the uniqueness of these factors. After proving the first lemma, we observed that if order of G is of this type, p1 raised to power n1, p2 raised to power n2, up to pk raised to power nk, where p1, p2, pk are distinct primes, then we can write G as the direct product of gp1, gp2, gpk, where each gpi contains elements that are killed by p to the power ni. Now because this factorization depends on the factorization of the order of n, which is unique because n can be uniquely represented in this way: p1 n1, p2 n2, pk nk. So this factorization of G into gp1, gp2, gpk is unique because these factors are determined by the primes, and each gpi contains elements that are killed by only p to the power ni. So to prove the fundamental theorem, it is now sufficient to prove that we can write each GPI as an internal direct product of cyclic groups in a unique way.